You wake up as a pirate, and right away, your first problem is that the floor is moving. Not a little bit. Not like a fun boat ride where someone hands you a soda and says, "Look, dolphins." I mean, the entire room is leaning, creaking, smelling terrible, and trying to throw you into another sweaty man who has not washed correctly in maybe 6 weeks. Welcome to pirate life. It is not mostly treasure maps. It is mostly ropes, salt, boredom, foot pain, and a deep personal relationship with a bucket. Your bed is not really a bed. It is probably a hammock, which sounds relaxing until the ship rocks hard and you swing into the guy next to you like a sad human curtain. There is no private room. There is no quiet morning. There is no gentle sunrise with coffee. There is yelling. There is coughing. There is wood groaning like the ship regrets every decision it ever made. And somehow, before you even fully wake up, someone is already mad about a sail. Life as a pirate starts with work, because pirate ships are not magic crime hotels. They are floating machines made of wood, rope, cloth, and constant panic. Somebody has to scrub the deck. Somebody has to patch the sail. Somebody has to pump water out of the lower part of the ship, because the ocean is always trying to come inside, like it pays rent. If you imagined pirates just standing around saying "R" and pointing at treasure, bad news. Most of your day is chores. Pirate chores, ocean chores, chores with knives nearby. You climb, you pull rope, you haul barrels, you check the rigging. You help cook something that has the emotional energy of wet cardboard. You scrape disgusting things off the side of the ship. You learn that barnacles are basically nature's way of saying, enjoy your extra work. The food is bad, but not in a fun way. It is not bad like a cheap frozen dinner. It is bad like someone invented sadness and salted it. You might get hardtack, which is a dry biscuit so tough it feels like eating a building. It can have weevils in it, little bugs that live inside the food because apparently the food needed roommates. And after a while, you stop being shocked by that. You just tap the biscuit, knock out the bugs, and pretend you are winning. There is salted meat too sometimes. Beef, pork, fish, whatever can survive without turning into complete poison. The problem is, it already tastes like it has been personally insulted by the concept of flavor. Fresh food disappears quickly. Fruit is a temporary miracle. Vegetables are basically a rumor. Water is a whole other disaster. Fresh water goes stale. It gets warm. It grows mystery smells. Sometimes it is stored in barrels that make it taste like old wood and regret. So people drink beer, wine, rum, or watered-down versions of those, not because every pirate is trying to be cool, but because regular water on a ship can become a biological prank. This is where you start to understand why pirates look rough. It is not a fashion choice. The ocean is just beating everyone up slowly. Your clothes are damp. Your skin is salty. Your hair is doing whatever it wants. Your teeth are in a private war with your mouth. If you have a small cut, you start watching it like it owes you money because infection is not a side quest. It is one of the main villains. And then there is disease. Scurvy is the famous one because if you do not get enough vitamin C, your body starts acting like it forgot the maintenance manual. Your gums swell. Old wounds can open. You get weak. You feel awful. Basically, your body sends a very dramatic complaint letter because nobody gave it an orange. So when pirates find fresh fruit, they are not just being fancy. They are fighting the evil mouth disease. A lemon can suddenly become more exciting than a gold coin. Not cooler, but probably more useful if your gums are trying to escape. Now the weird thing is that pirate ships could actually be more fair than some legal ships. Not nice. Let us not get carried away. This is still a violent floating workplace for criminals. But compared to merchant ships or naval ships, where captains could be absolute nightmares, pirate crews often had rules. Written rules, articles, agreements. It is crime, but with a document. The crew might vote on big decisions. They might choose the captain. They might remove the captain if he is useless, greedy, or starts acting like the ocean made him king. The captain is powerful during a chase or a fight because you do not want a committee meeting while cannonballs are rearranging your furniture. But outside battle, the quartermaster can be a huge deal. He helps manage discipline, shares of loot, supplies, and all the annoying arguments that happen when 100 angry men are trapped on wood. This is one of the funniest parts of pirate life. You are breaking the law, robbing ships, and possibly being hunted by the Navy, but also someone is carefully arguing about fair distribution like it is a terrible office meeting. The loot system matters. A normal sailor might get one share. Important specialists, like the carpenter or surgeon, might get more because if the ship breaks or your leg does something weird, suddenly those people become extremely valuable. The captain gets more too, but usually not as much more as a legal captain might take. Some pirate crews even had compensation for injuries. Lose a finger, get a payout. Lose an arm, get more. Lose a leg, congratulations. Your body has become part of the payroll. It sounds ridiculous, but for the time, that could be better than what a lot of sailors got on legal ships, which was often just pain and a boss yelling at you. Of course, do not mistake fairer for comfortable. You can still be punished. You can be flogged. You can be marooned, which means being left on a tiny island with barely anything, so your main activity becomes staring at the horizon and rethinking your life. Pirate rules can be weirdly strict. No stealing from the crew, no hiding loot, no fighting on board unless it is allowed in a controlled way, no candles where they might set the ship on fire, because nothing ruins a criminal enterprise faster than accidentally becoming soup. Weapons are everywhere. Pistols, cutlasses, knives, muskets, cannons. But you do not spend every hour in a sword fight. Most pirate life is waiting. Waiting for wind. Waiting for a sail on the horizon. Waiting for repairs. Waiting for the water barrel to stop tasting like a swamp. Waiting for somebody to stop playing music badly. Then, one day, somebody spots a ship. Now everything changes. The boring floating chores suddenly become focused. The captain studies the target. Is it a merchant ship? Is it armed? Is it alone? Does it look rich? Or does it look like it is carrying 400 barrels of something deeply disappointing, like rope? The crew gets ready. Cannons are checked. Weapons are loaded. People start looking serious, which is not easy when everyone is damp and smells like old fish. But pirates do not always want a big battle. Battles are dangerous and expensive. Cannonballs damage the ship you're trying to steal from. Dead crew members are bad for morale. Also, getting shot is famously unpleasant. So the best pirate attack is often psychological. You want the other ship to look at your flag, your guns, your crew, and immediately decide, you know what? Our cargo is not that important. That is why pirate flags matter. Not because they are spooky decorations for gift shops, but because they are threats. A skull, bones, an hourglass, a skeleton stabbing something. Subtle? No? Effective? Sometimes. It is basically a very aggressive business logo. If the target surrenders, great, you board them. You take cargo, money, supplies, food, tools, medicine, weapons, maps, clothing, maybe the ship itself. You question the crew. You decide whether to let them go, recruit some of them, or do something much worse depending on the crew, the captain, and how angry everyone is. And this is another weird detail. Pirate loot is not always treasure chests full of gold coins. Sometimes it is sugar, cloth, tobacco, indigo, barrels of food, spare sails. A chest of coins is nice, obviously. Nobody is mad at coins. But a ship full of useful goods can be valuable too. You might rob a ship and the big exciting prize is not diamonds. It is medicine, rope, and enough food to stop everyone from eating bug biscuits for a week. Honestly, that might get louder cheers than a necklace. If the target fights back, now you are in the scary version of pirate life. Cannon smoke, splintering wood, screaming, fire, people slipping on blood and seawater. The ship shakes. Your ears ring. Everyone has a plan until a cannonball goes through a wall and turns the plan into dust. Boarding a ship is chaos. You climb over, weapon in hand, trying not to fall, trying not to get stabbed, trying to look brave even though your brain is screaming, This is a bad ladder. This is where the pirate fantasy becomes very thin. A sword fight sounds cool when you are sitting safely in a chair. It probably feels less cool when the deck is wet, your shoes are bad, and a stranger is trying to make you shorter. If you survive, the crew searches the ship. The quartermaster keeps order. The carpenter checks damage. The surgeon, if you have one, starts dealing with the human consequences, and his toolkit is not exactly a modern hospital. Surgery at sea is very much a bite this and please do not move situation. Then comes the argument phase. What did you get? How is it divided? Is the captured ship worth keeping? Are there prisoners? Are any of the prisoners useful? Is someone hiding coins in their boot like an idiot? Pirates are dramatic, but they are also practical. A good carpenter is worth more than a random passenger. A skilled navigator might suddenly become a new crew member, even if he was not planning to update his career that day. Some sailors joined willingly because legal sailing could be brutal and badly paid. Others were forced. Some pirates were escaped enslaved people, poor sailors, privateers who lost legal cover, or men running from bad options on land. That is the thing about pirate life. It is not one clean story. Some people chose it. Some were pushed into it. Some were terrifying criminals. Some were desperate workers. Some were all of that at the same time because history refuses to be tidy. After a successful raid, the mood can get very different. Suddenly there is food, maybe drink, maybe money, maybe fresh clothes that do not smell like the inside of a cursed barrel. Someone starts music. Someone brags. Someone lies so hard the whole ship can hear it. You might head to a friendly port, or at least a port friendly enough to not ask too many questions. Pirate goods need buyers. Stolen cargo has to become money. This is where the land side of piracy appears. Taverns, merchants, corrupt officials, fences, smugglers, and people who suddenly become very relaxed about paperwork. A pirate port is not a clean adventure town. It is noisy, risky, expensive, and full of people trying to take your money now that you finally have some. You might spend weeks at sea being miserable, then lose half your pay in 2 days because someone sold you terrible rum and called it premium. Also, being on land does not mean you are safe. There are informers, naval officers, rival crews, old enemies, people who want revenge, people who want your money, people who want your boots for reasons that are probably not good. If you are smart, you fix the ship, buy supplies, rest, and leave. If you are a pirate, there is a decent chance you also make several loud decisions in a tavern and wake up with a headache, a missing coat, and a new enemy named something like Big Tom. The longer you live as a pirate, the more you notice that the whole life is a timer. Not a visible timer, sadly. That would be helpful. But you can feel it. Every raid increases the chance somebody comes after you. Every rumor spreads. Every stolen cargo makes someone angry. Governors offer pardons sometimes. Navies send hunters. Former friends turn informant. The law is slow until suddenly it is standing on the dock with soldiers. And pirates know this. That is why some take pardons when they get the chance. A pardon is basically the government saying, please stop doing ocean crime and we might not hang you. Which, honestly, is a pretty strong offer. But stopping is hard if you have no good way back. You may have no land, no job, no legal reputation, and no desire to return to a merchant captain who treats sailors like replaceable rope. So the pirate keeps going. Another voyage, another target, another argument about food, another storm. Storms are the part nobody romanticizes enough, probably because they are just horrible. A storm does not care that you have a cool hat. It does not care about your flag. It does not care that yesterday you were feeling powerful because you stole cloth from a merchant ship. The storm shows up and treats your entire ship like a toy made by a nervous child. The sails have to be managed. The ropes snap, the mast groans, waves slam the deck, barrels break loose. People get thrown around. Someone is praying. Someone is vomiting. Someone is doing both with impressive teamwork. If the ship survives, everyone pretends they were brave the whole time. This is not true, but it is polite. Then the repairs start. More wood, more rope, more pumps, more soaked clothing, more checking whether the food is ruined, which it probably is, because the sea loves ruining snacks. By afternoon on a normal day, if nothing exciting happens, you are still working. Cleaning weapons, drying powder, mending sails, practicing with guns, watching the horizon, taking a turn at the helm, listening to old sailors explain weather in a way that sounds like a curse. There might be games, dice, cards, music, stories. Some crews banned gambling because it caused fights, which makes sense. Put 100 board-armed men on a ship and let them gamble, and congratulations, you have invented a problem. There's also constant social pressure. You cannot just log off from the pirate ship. If someone annoys you, they are still there at breakfast, and lunch, and dinner, and during the storm, and while you are trying to sleep. The ocean is huge, but the ship is small, so personality becomes a survival issue. The best crew members are useful. Can you sail, repair, cook, navigate, fight, speak another language, treat wounds, read, write? If yes, great. If not, you had better learn quickly or at least pull rope very enthusiastically. And if you are the new person, everyone is judging you. Can you handle fear? Can you follow orders? Do you complain too much? Do you steal? Do you freeze during danger? Do you secretly work for the authorities? Very rude question, but also fair, because betrayal is a real concern when everyone on board is technically already a criminal. At some point, you start to understand why pirates built reputations. Reputation is useful. If everyone believes your crew is dangerous, ships surrender faster. But there is a problem. Become too famous, and now the Navy learns your name. You want to be scary enough to win, but not so famous that every port starts preparing a rope with your measurements. It is a delicate brand strategy, but with executions. By evening, the ship slows into its night rhythm. Watches are assigned. Some people sleep, some stay alert. The ocean gets dark, and suddenly the whole world is water, stars, and creaking wood. If the day was boring, you are tired from labor. If the day was exciting, you are tired from terror. Dinner is probably not good. Let us not pretend it improved. Maybe there is stew, maybe salted meat, maybe something captured recently that everyone is calling fresh because expectations are now on the floor. Someone tells a story about a captain who buried treasure. Someone else says that is nonsense. Someone else says they personally saw it happen, which is suspicious because that person also claimed last week that a whale made eye contact with him and understood politics. The truth is, buried treasure is not the main thing. Pirates usually spend, trade, divide, hide, or lose money much faster than they create secret island bank accounts. Burying treasure is risky. You need to come back. You need to remember where it is. You need nobody else to see you. You need a map that does not get wet. You need your crew to not immediately say, "Actually, why are we letting him keep the map?" So if you live as a pirate, your treasure is less likely to be a giant chest under a palm tree and more likely to be your share of stolen goods, some coins, a better pistol, a new coat, or 3 weeks of eating something that does not crunch because of insects. And still, there is a thrill to it. That is the annoying part. Because even with the smell, the sickness, the danger, the horrible food, and the high chance of dying badly, there is freedom in it, at least compared to some lives on land or under legal captains. You vote, you share. You might rise by being useful instead of being born rich. You might look at a merchant captain who used to beat sailors and think, "Not today, little boss man." That does not make piracy good. It does make it understandable. Pirate life is rebellion mixed with robbery. It is a workplace revolt with cannons. It is desperate people building their own ugly little system on top of violence, hunger, and opportunity. Sometimes that system is weirdly fair. Sometimes it is cruel. Usually, it is both before lunch. As night settles, you crawl back into your hammock. The ship rocks. Someone snores like a broken door. Somewhere below, water slaps against the hull. Your hands hurt. Your clothes are stiff with salt. You have bug bites in places you did not know could have opinions. Tomorrow might be nothing. Just chores, bad food, and more ocean. Or tomorrow might be a sail on the horizon, a chase, a cannon blast, a prize, a storm, a mutiny, a pardon, a hanging, or a glorious amount of stolen cheese. That is pirate life. Not a clean adventure. Not a Halloween costume with better lighting. It is dangerous, dirty, unfair, strangely democratic, occasionally exciting, and mostly exhausting. And if you somehow survive long enough to retire, which is a hilarious phrase for a pirate, you probably do not walk away with a mountain of gold. You walk away with scars, stories, missing teeth, maybe a little money, and the permanent ability to judge every normal bed as unbelievably luxurious. Because after years of sleeping above a wet wooden floor while the ocean tries to murder you, even a lumpy mattress feels like royal treasure.